Hi, it's Josie, and today I'd like to share with you how to hold the reins and how to use them. Our reins are a very important communication tool with our horse, and that communication is a two-way communication. I can hear and feel from him through the reins, and he can hear and feel from me through the reins. So for that to happen though, there needs to be a consistent connection with the horse. And the reason I'm telling you this is because that is why we hold the reins in the way we do, so that there is soft and supple communication with the horse's mouth. It's not about being hard on his mouth. The way you hold the rein is vitally important for that. So we're going to run through a few things here. We'll just come in nice and close and we'll look at my hand. You have some joints, 1, 2, 3 in your hand. The first thing I want to tell you is that your rein should sit down close to the palm and on this first joint here of your hand. So it goes between your ring finger and your little finger like that. It goes up and it should, as I said, be over those joints there. It comes out the top. Now you close your hands around the reins. Whoops, I'll just make sure I'm not going to pull on Rebel's mouth. You close your hands around. Now you don't squeeze in there and make a fist, because as soon as you've made a fist, everything is tight. This needs to be supple so that there is a little bit of give and take on both ends. I expect my horse to have a nice supple poll and a supple mouth and a supple jaw, so therefore I am required to have supple fingers, supple wrist, supple elbows and supple shoulders. It works both ways. And so it's very important for you as a rider to learn to have your arms and hands like they need to be before you even think about how you're going to control your horse and get a contact, because if you don't have that, it won't be a correct contact. So the reins sit over that bit, your fingers close. You don't dig your, I'm just going to take my glove off here because I think it shows it better. So the reins go in here, so I don't have my fingers dug in like that. The pads of my fingers just sit nice and softly there, because I want you to go, you can do this when you're sitting there watching this video. Do that and feel how tight your hand is, and then just rest the pads of your fingers on the palm of your hand. Whoops, I haven't got my little finger in there. And see how much softer that is. So much softer. Your thumb sits on top, and that's actually what holds your reins and stops them slipping. It's not a big strong pressure, it just sits there and it stops the reins from slipping. You don't need a lot of pressure. You're not supposed to have your thumb flat. Flatten your thumb and feel yourself. You'll feel all of that tighten there. I can feel it really tight. There's no suppleness in my wrist for my horse. When I just bend it and place it lightly on top, my whole hand feels supple. How much tension do you have in your fist to hold the rein? Sally Swift said it best, I think. It's a great analogy for me, is think that you've got a baby chick in your hand and you don't want it to get away, but you don't want to squeeze it and kill it either. You just want to gently hold it there so that it's not going to run away. Then when you want to give your horse rein aids, you literally, once you've developed this and you can have a nice connection with your horse's mouth, you're only required to do that. That is how I give a rein aid. I think I've got a sponge in there and I squeeze it and release it. Squeeze it and release it. Now a lot of people ride like this with their hand open, thinking that they're being soft with their horse's mouth, and I understand their thought process there, but that actually just gives the horse white noise. So if I'm trying to have a conversation with the horse and I've got an open hand, and sometimes the feeling is there and sometimes it's gone because the hand is open, the horse is getting this sort of bit like when you're on your mobile phone and it keeps dropping out. So when your fingers are closed gently, so you don't kill that bird, you have got a nice solid communication line to your horse. So one thing I particularly notice when I'm teaching people is they might have their hand like that, but their little pinky is open and just floating around. You need to close your little pinky as well. You need to have your whole hand closed, your rein over and your thumb just resting on top, not flat, not up, not pushing down really hard either, because if you push, you feel all the tension. It just sits there. When I want to give a rein aid to my horse, perhaps I want a little bit of flexion, or I want to say, excuse me, we're going this way. I would go, excuse me, we're going this way, this way, this way, this way. If he doesn't listen to me, I will actually just tip my wrist in a bit more. So if I squeeze my ring finger, I've taken about a half an inch, centimetre and a half perhaps, I'm not really sure, but I've taken a bit of length off the rein. If he's not listening to that, when I turn that in this hand here, I've got a lot of pressure. Okay, so you don't need any more than that on a horse's mouth. If he's not responding to that pressure, you need to go back and teach him to give to the pressure, but that's beyond the scope of this video today. So if you watch my right hand here as I come off the track at B, warning him, saying come this way, 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 you can see. So hopefully you saw that I indicated for the horse to come around onto the circle. I'll do it again in case you missed it. So I'm holding my hands, Rebel's holding his end of the bit, coming here, I'm going, let's go this way, this way, this way, this way. Look how much I can move his nose just by my ring finger. So when you're riding along and you've got both hands closed, thumbs on top, and you're riding, oh, it feels very weird without gloves, and you want to shorten your reins, how do you do that? If you've got a good contact and connection with your horse, you don't want to drop that contact, you don't want to drop that connection, you want to keep that, particularly if you're riding in a test and your horse is on the bit and you're going well, but your reins have gotten a little bit long and you need to shorten them. The last thing you want to do is interrupt that beautiful connection that you have with your horse's mouth. So what I do, and how I was taught to do it, is I take the rein that I'm going to shorten under these two fingers here and just hold it, and then I slide my hand down, and then I'll do the same thing here, and then so that in the process of putting that rein into that hand, I can keep exactly the same connection on my horse's mouth. You should be able to drop a rein and keep the same connection. So now my reins are far too long, I need to shorten them. I'll shorten the outside rein first, there, there, and I did not change the feel on Rebel's mouth one bit. Let's do that again. So now my reins are far too long. Put both reins in one hand, keep that soft feel there, slide that down. Both reins in one hand, pick that up. Shorten my reins without playing with the contact. I hope that helps. If you've got any comments, please leave them below. I'll be sure to answer them. Anything you'd like me to do a video on, I'd also love to do that if I can. See you later.